Hey guys, you're gonna wanna watch this Project E because I sat down and I went through all the episodes and tried to correlate if they went back to the lunar tables, to the best fishing times. You know, they got the excellent days, the good days, the great days. You're gonna wanna see the results of all the Project E's last year and how they correlate with those best fishing times.
From the top of the mountain.
So in my business, you know, I have never, ever in my life, do I look at, hey, is today a good day to go fishing? What is the time today to go fishing? I just don't do it because, you know, one, I have only X amount of days to go. Two, they put the tournament dates in the calendar. They don't look at the lunar tables to see, hey, this is supposed to be a good fishing week or this is supposed to be a good fishing day. I've never studied it. I just don't know anything about it. To me, it's one of those things that adds complication to my plate. I'm complicated enough trying to catch a bass, especially in weather like this. You can't even get out there. But so what I did, I went through every Project E episode that I just went fishing. Just, you know, not the tournament episodes. Those are a little bit different. Those are a week long. But all the episodes from last year. And I wrote down the times that the best bites. I wrote down the moon. I wrote down, was it a good fishing day? You know, like when you get here and you look on this solar best fishing times calendar, this is just infisherman.com. I could go back in time and, you know, when I pull up, let's see, my very first Project E was pre-spawn 101. So when I type in March 4th, 2020, I look in the whole month of March. That's one problem there. There's only 2 excellent days. There's 1, 2, 3 great days, 4 great days, and then there's some average days. Well, I went fishing on the 4th. And it was a good day. It wasn't a great day. I caught a really big one at 3:15. And it says right here that the best, like of the major feeding times, there was one 2:30 to 4:30 in the morning and one from basically 3 to 6 at night. Well, that 3 to 6, I caught that biggest fish at 3:15. Also, the moon set at 9:43 a.m. I'm diving off into this, so I'm studying it. I just got done writing all this down. So I would say on this day, I did catch a big fish at 3:15, and that's when that best bite is supposedly at. So we'll put a maybe. I don't know. Let's just put a maybe. Possible. Let's just put a possible. Okay, the next day, March 5th, I went and tried to do a bridge episode. And man, I struggled. I caught one monster bass right off the bat. The best feeding time was from 4 to 6, and it's not a good day to fish. The moon came up at 1:09 a.m. and it set at 10:19. There's nothing that correlates there. But I didn't have a great day, so I don't know. I'll just put a big old question mark right there. The next filming event that I had was I fished Lake Tenkiller, and it was flooded. It was March 27th. And it says the best fishing time, let me go to my calendar here, March 27th. Oh, hey, it's supposed to be a great fishing day. Looky there, 10 to noon was the best bite. The moon rose at 6:27 that night and set at 7:03. But see, I just didn't catch them that good. I caught a lot of little fish that day, and there was not, I'd say, a time in that day that I thought the bite was better, and it was supposed to be a great day. What I remember about that flooded lake episode, I caught some fish, didn't catch any big ones. Man, I don't know. I don't know if we're getting anywhere. Never fished this lake before. That was March 25th. That was actually before, so we filmed a couple days there in a row. That was not a good fishing day. The peak time of that day would have been 8:30 to 10:30 that morning. The moon was 3:50. It came up and set at 6:08. I caught fish throughout that day. What I remember, it was a pretty decent day. I don't know. We get to Lake Falcon, Matt Reed. I had 2 back-to-back kind of episodes there with Matt. We caught him really good, but it's April the 5th, and when I go to my calendar to April the 5th, right off in the morning, we weren't on the water that early. And then in the evening, it says a not good day, and we caught them really good. No correlation. So I'm putting another question mark. I just don't understand. April 8th, I did that awesome flipping deal. It was phenomenal. So 9 to 11 p.m. and 8 to 10. Well, I did that whole flipping episode. I caught all those fish from 3:30 to 6. I mean, it was a great episode, like phenomenal episode. It was just fun, and there's no correlation. I don't understand that. So I had a great day. It says not a good day fishing according to their calendar. The moon set at 4:25. So there is a common denominator if there is anything. I caught those fish when that moon set. Okay, riprap. I filmed that riprap segment that morning, and they bit pretty good that morning. And the bite was supposed to be good from basically 8:45 to 10:45. And that's I caught them pretty good right then. So a little bit of correlation right there, but I'm just saying a little bit, I don't know. Hitting the hard spots, I remember that day. That day was a struggle. Again, not a good fishing day. Still, the time's really the same. Moon set at 3:16. It pretty much took me all day to do that segment. I don't understand, never caught any big fish. Breaking down a shallow grassy lake. That was June 3rd. I caught my fish that evening. I remember that episode really well. They bit, I fished and fished and fished, and then that evening they bit really well. Well, the main bite was supposed to be 6 to 8 in the morning. It was not a good fishing day, and the sun set at 2:21 p.m. And I'd be willing to say that there's probably enough difference. So there's a little bit of correlation with those bites at that sunset. That's maybe the 3rd time that sunset during the bite. Just throwing that out there. We're kind of going into this here. Summertime cranking. That was in June. I smoked them. That was like an excellent day, and it wasn't a good day on the calendar. I just don't understand it. I've not fished an excellent day yet. Summertime cranking, 4 to 6 is the bite. Man, that's exactly when I caught them. Big time caught them. I caught all those fish between 4:15 and 6:15 p.m. Or no, actually between 5 and 7. The bite was between 4 and 6. The moon had nothing to do with it. But I would definitely say that was maybe, I don't know. So now I've got like 2 days that it correlates with the bite, and I've got a couple days that it correlates with the moon, and we're into June. Falling water. That day was horrible. I wore my shirt backwards. I remember that. The bite was supposed to be between 5 and 7 p.m. The moon rose at 12:36 and set at 1:31. And it's supposed to be a great fishing day? Hold on a second. So I go from fishing over on Grand, summertime cranking, to June 17th, falling water on Uligaw. And it's supposed to be a great day. This is the first episode that I've filmed, and it's supposed to be a great fishing day according to the solar tables. And I didn't catch them. I mean, I did not catch them. I had a few big bites that day, but it was a struggle that entire day. Now, granted, I'm dealing with falling water. Interesting. All right, shallow grass. That was June 30th. Another not good fishing day. It's not good, not great, not excellent, not even average. Fish caught between 10 and 12:45 was when the main bite was. That's interesting because the moon set at 12:08 p.m. right during the middle of that. And the bite that day, if there was one, according to the lunar tables, is 4:30 to 6:30. So that's the 3rd moon event. I'm going to make a little star next to these moon events, because that's kind of interesting to me. Now, late summer fishing, guys. If you remember this episode, it was like a phenomenal episode. I blistered them, big ones. And that was August 21st. Let's go to my calendar. I skipped in here a few episodes. I was on the Elk River, and I actually had some episodes in July. I didn't get one made. But that's a good fishing day. It's supposed to be a good fishing day. I caught all my fish between 6:43 and 10:02 a.m. The peak fishing time was 10 to noon. The moon has no correlation. It came up at 8:28 p.m. and set at 4:55. But it was a good day. And I remember, I think I fished the day before and I didn't catch them real good. So a little bit of correlation there, a little bit. All right, then we're gonna go August 28th. I did a drop shot deal up in Minnesota. Okay, I'm in August. Let's go August 28th. Again, not a good fishing day. I caught a lot of fish that day, but they were all that morning. They're saying the peak fishing time was 3:45 to 5:45. Sun came up at 10:55 and set at 1:04, so no correlation to anything there. Breaking down a natural lake, I do remember, man, I really started catching those fish like between 10 and noon. Like when I got that crankbait going, I started catching them, and I noticed right there that the sun set right at noon. So I'm gonna put a little star next to that one. If I'm seeing anything here, I don't know. I don't want to say that yet. So Topwater Madness, that day that I fished with Larry Melton, September 9th. When I went through here and I looked it up, the moon came up at 9:44 in the morning, set at 9:12. We caught all our fish between basically 9 and noon. The best fishing time for that day was 1 to 3. And it's an average day. It's one of the first days that I had average. But to me, that was like one of the best fishing days I had all season long, because it was just incredible. And just to give a little back to that, I'd been on that lake a couple days prior to that, and I didn't get a bite. And then me and Larry went there, and we just whopped big ones after big ones. So a couple correlations there. There is the moon coming up, and it's an average fishing day. So I'm just kind of putting some stars by some of the stuff that stands out. Okay, big ones in the fall. Man, we wrecked them on that popping bait. I before I put a lot of weight in some of these events, this was up north. North fishing's a little bit easier, well, a lot easier than it is down south. The moon set at 10 and it rose at 11. That has no correlation, and the best bite was 2 to 4, and I caught all those fish in the morning, so we're nothing there. I should just put a big X on the ones that there's just no correlation at all. Facts I never knew. That was my introduction to a jig worm. The best fishing time was 3 to 5 that day. We were done well before 3, and the moon set at noon, which is interesting because that kind of correlates with it. That kind of correlates with that bite. Interesting. Can bass really live this shallow? We caught all those fish, or I caught all those fish that evening, and that correlates big time with the best bite. Basically 4 to 6 p.m. The sun doesn't have anything to do with the moon, but it does correlate a little bit right there with that. Hot Defoe, October 4th. That was actually supposed to be a good fishing day. It's, I've had an average and now a good. Everything else has been not good. The best time to fish was 9 to 11. The moon rose at 5 and set at 6:30. Nothing correlates there. And I didn't think it was that good a fishing day. Me and Ott fished our tail off on a pretty private stretch of river and didn't catch them that good. So I'm just like a big X there too. All right, moving on. My new PB, November 4th, it says it's an excellent day. It wasn't by any shape for me. When I feel like it's an excellent day, for me fishing is I go out and I catch a lot and got a lot to talk about, and it's really easy. That day I struggled. It was not great. I was out there pretty much all day long. No, there's a big X going on that day. Nothing correlates with that. I was Yeah, that just makes no sense. Tracking bass movement number 1. Did that in November the 15th. I caught all those fish between 11:30 and 3:40. The best bite that day was 7 to 9. It was not a good fishing day. The moon did rise at 3:30 though. Basically right when that biggest one bit, if you remember. So there is some correlation there. Okay, when all else fails, man, this was supposed to be a great fishing day. Best bite was 9:30 to 11:30 in the morning. That didn't happen for me. The moon set at 5. Now that correlates to pretty close to when I caught that big one, because I caught that big one right at the very end of the day, but not like an over the top. It was a good fishing day. I will. This bait shines this time of year. That's when I caught them on that grub. That was December 8th. Caught them all in the morning. It was not a good fishing day. The prime fishing time was 2:15 to 4:15. See if the moon does anything. The moon rose at 12 and set at 9. No correlation. None. It's driving me up the wall. Cold weather fishing. That was when I went to Grand, and I caught them good that day. The best bite was 7 to 9. I don't think I got over there till 10 because it was frozen. I had to wait for it to warm up. The moon did set at 2:30, and that was right when I felt like I caught them. I'm putting a star there. And then how to get sponsors. We filmed that. We didn't catch. Brad caught one. I lost one or two. It's not supposed to be a good fishing day. 4 to 6 was the best bite, and no moon. So, All right, guys. So this is just my first year doing this, but this is what I gather. I think it's. I don't know. I kind of think it's hogwash because I had an excellent fishing day. I had some great fishing days that I was out there, and they were not any better. My best fishing days, if I was just to go by, when you look at the map, the good, the great, the excellent, all my best fishing days was on the days that there's no mark, which I consider, according to their map, not good because they have average, so anything below average is not good. All my best days were on not good days. The few days that I had that was great, the one excellent, it wasn't good, it wasn't great, it wasn't excellent. The fishing times, I fished a whole bunch of times when these should have been fishing times, and then I think that's a wash. I don't think there's any correlation to any of that. The one thing that I think consistently came through that is very eye-opening to me is when that moon sets or that moon rises. Like it seems to me like when I would have a moon set or a moon rise mid-morning or mid-afternoon, I would catch fish during that time. Some of those best peak times for me was during that. The Lake Falcon with Matt Reed. We caught all those big ones there right when that moon set. Breaking down Shallow Grassy Lake down in Florida, the moon set. The Topwater Madness, the moon rose at 9:44 that morning. Breaking down a natural lake, the drop shot, the shallow grass, the moon set. I just think back to all the projectees for the year. Those key times or those key fish, even the very first episode, Pre-Spawn 101, was during that time. So to me, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to pay attention to this year with Project E. We are going to make it a point. I want to add the barometric pressure because that's another question that I have. I don't know. Does the barometric pressure affect fishing? I'm sure it does, but we all have to go only on the days that we get to go. We get to go on Saturday, we get to go on Sunday, or whatever day it is you're off work, or for me, a tournament. So I'm just kind of curious. You know, I got a snowy day. It's cold outside. I can't fish. Spent some time studying this, looking it up on my computer. Going forward, I will try to write down every day we go the sun, the set, and the rise of the moon, the fishing times, and I want to add the barometric pressure to it. I'm curious what that's doing in those peak times. With getting to do so much filming with this Project E, it's going to be kind of a neat way to log a bunch of information outside of my tournament fishing. And kind of interesting, guys. So in my consensus of what transpired over the last year, I think there may be a little correlation with that moon rising and falling to the better bite. I don't think there's any correlation on what days. Like if you're going to look at this calendar and say, well, you know, here it says March 8th is the excellent day to go in March. I can't tell that from anything that I did this past year, filming 52 episodes, that it had any relevance at all. So I wouldn't worry about that. And I'm not too sure on these peak fishing times. So really the only thing that I think is possibly the moon when it rises and sets. So we'll kind of keep track of this going forward. I will do a better job of logging this information each time we go fishing. It's kind of interesting though. I'd like to know from you guys, truly, if you've documented it, where are you at with your lunar tables, with your peak fishing times, with the moon setting and rising, with barometric pressures? Let me know. I would love to know. Let's study this stuff together, and let's try to become better fishermen. At the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do, and make the most of our time and be on that key spot. You know, if we can figure this out and you've got that one key brush pile, that one key point, that one key dock, be there during that peak time or during that moon set or that moon rise. So kind of different project to you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. You know, we don't necessarily have a power stop breakdown in it. You know, for me, the breakdown is the moon. If I was to take anything away from all this studying that I did right here and all this scratch, my power stop breakdown of it is I probably need to pay attention to when that moon's rising and falling during the middle of the day. So thank you guys for following along. Man, leave me some comments. Tell me what you think about the lunar tables, about all this stuff. I want to know if it means anything to you, if you can back it up factual with science, and let me know what you think here. And I'm going to do a better job studying this going forward next year. I'm going to add the barometric pressure into it, and it'd be interesting to see a year from now what else we have come up with on some of this, and see if it'll make us better, be on those key spots during that key time of the day. So appreciate you guys following along. Be sure you leave a comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Thanks.